and welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Thelma Okoro. The Nigerian government has called for closer ties with the United States. This formed part of the discussions during the visit of U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry to Nigeria. The U.S. Secretary of State held a meeting with Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari and governors of some Nigerian states. Even though the meeting was held behind closed doors, the governors briefed journalists on issues discussed at the meeting. Governor of Borno State Kashim Shettima said, among other things, the issues requested for support in the area of gender empowerment, girl-child education, the economy, and strengthening of the healthcare sector.
We had very fruitful cross-pollination of ideas with the United States Secretary of State John F. Kerry and his team. And the issues that we discussed basically dwell on the areas of enhancing the well-being of our people and on ensuring stability in the Nigerian nation. We discussed about issues of the insurgency and other security challenges in all regions, in all sub-regions of northern Nigeria. But fundamentally, we met him to realize that underneath the mayhem and nihilism of Boko Haram lies the real cause, which is extreme poverty. And we called on him to come in with their support, with the American support, in the areas of job creation, largely in the area of agriculture and mining. We spoke on education, which is absolutely essential for the take-up of any society because the whole world is becoming knowledge-driven. We requested for support in the area of girl-child education and gender empowerment. And of course, we sought for support in strengthening our healthcare facilities and health insurance and all those products that will really enhance the value of lives of our people, because most of our problems are issues that can be attended to at the primary healthcare level. And lastly, we discussed about renewable energy, because power, whether we like it or not, is a sine qua non for any industrial take-up. Any society cannot grow industrially if they do not have the adequate power support. So we requested for their support in the area of renewable energy, be it solar or wind. But the most important thing is, in spite of advances in science and technology, nothing can replace the personal contact in diplomacy. We were quite thrilled by the warm reception and the deep commitment to the Nigerian nation that the Secretary of State showed at our meeting. We were quite thrilled, we were quite happy with the outcome of the meetings.
The need for us to see it driven under an actionable plan that will translate into the expected goods and services for our people and truly strengthen the synergy for improved service delivery. So it's important we know that beyond just a talk show, this is an activity that is intended to see improved delivery of goods and services to our people.
There are commitments, especially on education, with particular emphasis on girl-child education. There is commitment on healthcare and renewable energy. On renewable energy, we talked about the program of President Obama on Power Africa and OPIC, Overseas Private Investment Corporation's intervention in funding renewable energy projects across the North in particular, namely solar energy and wind energy.
Reactions have been trailing the announcement by the country's military that it has killed 3 top commanders of Boko Haram and fatally wounded the terrorist sect's leader, Abubakar Shekau. The Nigerian military had reported that it had carried out an airstrike around the Sambisa forest stronghold of Boko Haram on the night of August. Now Nigerians have reacted to that. Take a listen to what they had to say.
Last year we heard that Shekau has been killed, and now we are also hearing about the name Shekau again. So I don't know whether they have actually killed Shekau or they didn't kill Shekau. They came out in the public and told us they have killed Shekau. But recently we are hearing about Shekau. Even today's paper, they said Shekau was seriously wounded. So I don't know whether it was the Shekau they claimed they killed last year or another person posing as Shekau. I cannot answer, I cannot tell.
Everything they said is true. It's a welcome development because the lesser the insurgents are, the better it is for us, for the country. But where my worry comes is from the grammatical structure of fatally wounded. Because when you use the word fatal, that means the person is dead. So they should really come and clarify what they mean by fatally wounded. But if it is true, because I'm not where the insurgents, so I can't say if it's a lie or not. But if it is true, it is better for the country.
And I think the military must be able to tell Nigerians the true state of their fight against the insurgents. Now, repeatedly we have been told that Shekau has been killed by this same military. And as at the point they told us Shekau has been killed in the past, he came out repeatedly to say he's alive, he's hale and hearty, nothing has happened to him. So that in itself, puts a very strong question mark on the reliability of the information that emanates from the military. Nigerians want to know how far they have fought insurgency and how good they have been able to conquer this people, given the military might they have, the training and strategies they've deployed over the years. But we have not seen, I don't want to say the military have not worked at all. But what I want to say is that the military have not been very clear. They have not been very clear. There are so many elusive statements about what they have told us so far. Because if you say you have killed Shekau in the past, and today you are not telling us that you have injured him again, I don't know what they mean by that. The story is incoherent. There's a lot of incongruent analysis emanating from the military.
I remember vividly some time ago, the DSS brought up one picture telling the whole world, Nigeria and the entire nation, that they killed the purported Shekau, and that they even brought to the extent of comparing the dead, the purported Shekau that they alleged that he was killed, and then they tried to, use an arrow pointing at his forehead to tell us that the same Shekau that was on that initial video is the one that was killed. But the question is this: I think this should be the third time the Nigerian security is telling this country that they killed or wounded one Shekau. But the truth is that permit me to use this biblical word, by two or three immutable things in which it's impossible for God to lie. When two evidence contradict themselves, you begin to have doubts. Now, initially they told us that one Shekau has been killed. Now the military is coming up again, telling us that another Shekau, whether it's another or the same Shekau, we don't even know which Shekau. So the question is that my candid belief is that the so-called Shekau existed in the imagination of Nigeria security forces. That's all.
The United Nations has urged the federal government to ensure that the areas recaptured from the Boko Haram sect are truly safe for displaced persons who want to return home. UN Special Representative on the Human Rights of Internally Displaced Persons, Professor Bayani Chaloka, says the government must also put together a policy to help internally displaced persons. Following the rising number of people displaced in the northeast part of the country, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has sought local and international humanitarian support to ease the burden. According to NEMA, over 2.2 million Nigerians are currently living in formal camps, host communities and satellite camps, liberated communities as a result of insurgency in northeast Nigeria. The federal government had put together several interventions to address the alarming plight of the IDPs in Nigeria, but the situation has been worsened by the diversion of food and relief materials provided by government for IDPs. The Nigerian Army has arrested 3 militants suspected of being involved in the killing of 4 soldiers in the Niger Delta region. In a statement issued, the Army also confirmed it has seized a large weapons cache. 2 weeks ago, the Army said gunmen dressed as priests killed 4 soldiers in the oil-producing region of Niger Delta. The Army said that in a shootout on Monday, it killed several militants belonging to the Niger Delta Avengers group. The Niger Delta Avengers has claimed responsibility for a string of attacks on oil and gas facilities. Only recently, the group said it was ready for a ceasefire and a dialogue with the Nigerian government. The Code of Conduct Tribunal has fixed October 5, 2016 to deliver a ruling on the case of Niger Senate President Bukola Saraki. Chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal, Danladi Umar, gave this ruling in a sitting on Abuja. The Senate President has been accused of false declaration of assets while in office as Kwara State Governor between 2003 and 2011. He was also alleged to have collected governorship salary 4 years after his tenure had ended in office. Former military head of state Yakubu Gowon has urged Nigerians to have more patience with President Muhammadu Buhari. He was speaking to State House correspondents in Abuja after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari. Yakubu Gowon ruled Nigeria between 1966 to 1975.
One appreciates his effort and determination to rid the country of corruption, which certainly had been one of the problems that has created serious setback to the country, both nationally and internationally. And then, of course, yes, as you know, the current situation about the Chibok girls, the government effort to try to really get credible information about the girls and also those that can be able to deal with this problem. But the government is certainly determined to make sure that these girls are brought back home. The number of them at least are brought back home as soon as possible, as long as certain credibility can be established. And the amount of crude fuel that we use, crude oil that we use to produce over 2 million, 2.5. Now, it's down to under 1 million because of the problem we've been having, blowing up of all these areas, etc. So yes, we have problem, and there isn't enough money to be able to go around. Very soon, with the effort that the government is making to get things back to normal, making contact with the Avengers, all those who are Niger Delta, who are creating havoc there. We hope that all will be well soon.
In a bid to boost Nigeria's ICT sector, the Nigerian government has signed a key agreement with China. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir David Lawal, made the disclosure at the signing between the federal government and ICT giants Huawei Technologies in Abuja. The deal ensures a group of young and talented employees of the government take part in an all-paid 2-week training program in Abuja.
Over the course of the program, Huawei shares its ICT expertise and experience with young ICT professionals and has fueled the development of local ICT industries. The Seeds for the Future program has been held in more than 57 countries. More than 100 1,500 people from all over the world have received training from China. This is the first time we have organized Nigerian officials to take part in this program. I believe all the officials going for this training will learn the most advanced ICT technology and come back with a new profile.
The government and the President Muhammadu Buhari, recognizes that the progress so far made in the war against corruption and insecurity would not have been possible. The achievement so far would not have been possible without the acquisition and deployment of ICT skills and expertise. It has been the major tool in the law enforcement agents' ability to detect, track, and expose fraudulent practices and saboteurs of government programs. So the government is very, very keen in developing ICT skills and expertise among its workers and indeed among the citizenry at large.
I have honor to recall Digital Africa Conference and Exhibition 2016, on which President Buhari called for development of ICT to make it contribute between 30% to the GDP in the next 4 years, and also emphasize need to create enabling environment for Nigeria's teeming youngs to take advantage of ICT in order to create jobs, generate wealth, and diversify economy. We have all along adopted an open and inclusive approach, one cooperation with African countries, so as to build China-Africa community of shared future and fortune.
The World Health Organization has praised Nigeria for its quick response to the recent outbreak of the polio virus in Borno State. Nigeria suffered a setback in its fight against polio when health officials discovered 2 new cases of the virus in northeast Nigeria. Following the outbreak, Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima said the inability of health officials to access remote areas held by Boko Haram insurgents is the reason for the resurgence of polio in the state. He said the 2 areas in the state where the recent outbreak occurred could not be accessed from December 2013 to early 2016. The outbreak, which has also been confirmed by the World Health Organization, is a huge blow to the country's hopes of achieving a polio-free status. Last week, the federal government, supported by World Health Organization, UNICEF, and partners of the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, began an emergency polio immunization campaign in Borno State. No fewer than 241 Nigerians who were stranded in Libya have been deported back to Nigeria. The deportees arrived in the country through the Murtala Muhammad International Airport in Lagos State. They were received by the officials of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, who assisted them with food and transport fares. The agency also dispatched them to their various destinations. According to the organization, out of the 241 repatriated, 174 of them were males, while 67 of them were females. President Muhammadu Buhari has described the Zamfara killings as barbaric and unacceptable. No fewer than 8 persons were killed in Talata Mafara community in Zamfara State following violence that erupted over alleged blasphemy by a student of the Abdul Guzo Polytechnic. Reacting to the news, the president vowed that the perpetrators of the act would be brought to justice. The police have also imposed a 12-hour curfew in the community from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. daily. Nigeria, which is Africa's most populous country, is almost evenly divided between a mainly Muslim north and predominantly Christian South. Ethnic and sectarian clashes have claimed thousands of lives in the country in recent years. Chairman of the All Progressives Congress in Ondo State says he remains non-committal to the choice of candidates for the August 27 governorship primaries in the state. He was speaking at the APC National Secretariat in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. He also insisted that he has no specific preference for any of the candidates.
I have said repeatedly that I do not prefer any of the aspirants, but I have also no power to deny anyone the constitutional right to prefer any aspirant. All I know is that I don't have a preference. I have a vote. In the interest of perception, I did announce in the State Working Committee and the Executive Committee of the party over 2 months ago that I was not going to vote. I cannot stop anyone from exercising his constitutional and political right to express preference. I am forbidden from doing so because I'm the state chair of the party. And I do so as to help the party, unite the party, help with the perception issues, so that after the primaries, I'll be in a position to talk to all of our aspirants so that we work together. My preferred aspirant is the aspirant that is able to garner the majority of votes, the aspirant that is able to garner the greater endorsements, higher endorsements. And like I used to say it, when endorsement contend with endorsement, mobilization with mobilization, influence with influence, vision with vision, ability with ability, the people will speak. And as soon as the almost 3,000 delegates speak, that becomes my preferred aspirant and it becomes a candidate of the party.
We'll take a short break and we'll come back. We'll look at top business stories. Don't go away.
Mr. John! Mr. John! What is it now?
What is it now?
Please turn down the volume of your music. It's too loud.
And how is that your business?
It is disturbing me. I can't sleep.
And the same way you are disturbing my right to good music and where I enjoy it. Eh? What's wrong with you? You didn't have person complaining.
Maybe we thought that you have lost your mind. Are you having a party?
I'm just respecting you, sir. You remember I've paid my husband too.
You will not understand why we are complaining because you do not care about other people except yourself. Look, the transformation we need in this country begins in this compound.
Yes, now.
From you and I. This your selfishness is an offshoot of corruption. And corruption
not in my country.
You know, go to your bank. Go.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. To business stories now, the Nigerian currency was quoted at 402 naira per dollar on the black market on Wednesday. Traders say this is weaker than the 397 it traded at its previous session. Dollar scarcity has gripped Nigeria's official market for several weeks now. The naira, which hit fresh record lows since the central bank floated the currency on the official interbank market in June, first touched 400 on the black market this month. The CBN has been selling dollars almost daily to boost liquidity and support the naira. Manufacturers Association of Nigeria has commended CBN's directive to commercial banks and other authorized dealers to assign 60% of their total foreign exchange to the real sector. The CBN had said the decision to sell forex to local manufacturers was as a result of the slight proportion of forex channeled towards the importation of raw materials for the manufacturing sector. President of the manufacturing group Frank Jacobs told newsmen in Lagos that the directive came as a big relief to Nigerian manufacturers. But the group also wants the Apex Bank to reconsider its decision on the 41 items banned by the CBN.
The association wishes to commend the governor of Central Bank as well as the management of CBN for this long-awaited reprieve. You would recall that man has been in the forefront of advocating for a special consideration and allocation of foreign exchange, forex, to the manufacturing sector of the economy. This is in view of its contribution to the development of the economy via job creation and, most importantly, the much-needed diversification of the economy, which is one of the priorities of the present administration. The new circular is therefore a welcome development and would give fillip to efforts of government aimed at reflecting the economy. Please recall that the association issued a statement appraising the CBN circular on the 41 items classified as not valid for foreign exchange allocation. Subsequently, we had a series of meetings and dialogues with the Presidency and the Central Bank of Nigeria, during which we recommended the following: that the list of 41 items not valid for Forex should be disaggregated along tariff lines in consonance with the standard industrial trade codes to prevent misinterpretation by the Nigeria Customs Service and the commercial banks. That essential raw materials which are not available locally should be removed from the list. 3, that 96 items of finished goods, which Nigerian manufacturers have capacity to produce, be included in the list of items not valid for Forex. 4, manufacturers with confirmed letters of credit issued before the release of the circular on the 23rd July 2015 be given priority in Forex allocation at the confirmed rate. That CBN should implore commercial banks to give priority attention to Forex requirement of manufacturers for importation of raw materials, machines, and spare parts. 6, that government should speedily conclude the review of the export expansion grant to enable exporters of manufactured products to earn foreign exchange that would mitigate the foreign exchange scarcity. And 7, that manufacturers be given preferential foreign exchange allocation, preferably in specified percentage out of the pool available within the foreign exchange market.
Nigerians who buy brand new cars can now do so without any sweat. This comes as the National Automotive Design and Development Council has launched a credit purchasing scheme that would allow Nigerians buy new cars at a very low price. The company launched this scheme at a press conference in Lagos, urging Nigerians to embrace it. According to the council, about 7.5 billion naira has been put into the scheme, which will soon kick off. Our correspondent, Abiola Ismail, has more on the story.
Nigerians can now acquire new vehicles at a very affordable price. The National Automotive Design and Development Council, NADDC, says its vehicle acquisition scheme is aimed at reviving the country's automotive industry. Hailed as one of the top sectors to watch, Nigeria's automotive industry has the ability to assemble close to 400,000 vehicles in a day. The industry could also serve as a driver to the development of other basic industries in the country, with far-reaching results which could help improve the Nigerian economy. Currently, the sector only assembles just 25,000 vehicles, and this has had its own fair share on the Nigerian economy. Bearing this in mind, the agency has found what it says is a way out for the sector industry.
We want government to do something about the second-hand vehicles, and they have made some recommendation in that direction. They want us to create some kind of pool of funds to make Nigerians, to support Nigerian capacity to buy vehicles piecemeal. Because Nigerians buy second-hand vehicles because they don't have, they have to save up 100% to buy the vehicle. If there was a cheap credit for Nigerians to buy a vehicle, they would rather buy the new one. Then of course they want us to do something about the infrastructure.
The man in charge of the automotive policy and planning, Lukman Mahmoud, slammed the high cost of doing business in Nigeria, saying it's holding back the automotive industry from achieving its true potential.
They need something to be done about the more or less uncontrolled inflow of second-hand vehicle, because the second-hand vehicle, reduces the market that is available to them. So, of course, we have programmed to curtail the second-hand vehicle. We are struggling to realize this program. And at the same time, to be able to utilize that full capacity, the local entrepreneurs need monies to be injected by the original equipment manufacturer beyond just signing a technical agreement. So what have we done? Well, what are we doing? What we have done is to continue to pursue strategies to realize that reduction of inflow of second-hand vehicle without upsetting anybody.
Experts believe Nigeria's automotive industry still has the capability to create many jobs opportunities, encourage the growth of other satellite industries, and generate acquisition of technology. This, the agency says, could happen only when government fights against the influx of second-hand cars and discourage Nigerians from patronizing them. Abiola Ismail, TV360 Lagos.
Oil price fell at 1.5% on Wednesday. An unexpected increase in U.S. crude stocks revived worries about the supply glut that has capped prices for the past 2 years. Brent crude was down 74 cents at $49.22 per barrel, while U.S. crude was down 86 cents at $47.24 per barrel. Oil prices have more than halved from mid-2014 due to a supply glut. A magnitude 6.2 earthquake has struck in central Italy, leaving at least 120 people dead and many others trapped under rubble. Officials say many of the dead were in the village of Pescara del Tronto that was leveled to the ground. Due to the magnitude of the quake, the people fear that there might be a rise in the death toll. Much of the town of Amatrice was reduced to rubble. The quake, which hit northeast of Rome, has caused damage to towns in 3 regions, which include Umbria, Lazio, and Marche. Rescue efforts are currently underway to find survivors. South Sudan's opposition leader Riek Machar has arrived in Khartoum for medical treatment. His arrival comes days after he fled to the Democratic Republic of Congo following deadly clashes last month. Sudan's Information Minister Ahmed Bilal Ousmane said Sudan has received lately Dr. Riek Machar for pure humanitarian reasons, especially his need for treatment and medical care, end of quote. South Sudan is struggling to emerge from a 2.5-year civil war after a peace deal between President Salva Kiir and former Vice President Riek Machar broke down. Clashes between forces loyal to both men have left hundreds of people dead in the country's capital of Juba. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry on Monday announced a sum of $130 million as donation to South Sudan. A high court in Plateau State has adjourned the hearing of a suit on the reinstatement of Giwa FC to the Nigerian Professional Football League. The case has been adjourned to Thursday, August 25, 2016. The court had last week ordered the league management company to reinstate the club to the NPFL. The LMC in May this year announced that Giwa FC was expelled from the league for failing to honor 3 consecutive home games after being banished to Ilorin owing to crowd violence during their home clash against Enugu Rangers. Nigerian champions Eyimba have finally gained their first points of the 2016 CAF Champions League after defeating South African side Mamelodi Sundowns in their final group game. The People's Elephant defeated their Group B opponents 3-1 in the game played in Port Harcourt. Despite the victory, the Aba-based side are still out of the Champions League after they lost their first 3 group games. The win left them the bottom of the group, while Sundowns and Zamalek qualified for the semi-final. The People's Elephant have a rich history in the competition, having won the prestigious trophy twice, which is in 2003 and 2004. Tokyo has officially received the Olympic flag from Brazil. Governor of the city urged all parties to work together to host a successful Summer Games in 2020. The Tokyo Games have been hit by a series of issues, including the scrapping of the plans for the main stadium. This led to delays in the construction. Another issue is the plagiarism allegations, which forced organizers to ditch the original logo for the Games. Well, that's all we have on news now. We thank you very much for watching. I am Thelma Okoro.